How's it going, Jim? Thank you. So I think that market conditions right now are showing cracks in a lot of companies, as we see, which brings us to something that's pretty hot right now, which is activism. How do you find arbitrage in more and more of these activist strategies, for example, like Salesforce at the moment?
Well, a great question. Okay, so Salesforce is under siege from 4 different activists. I recommended Salesforce at $8 in the show. I always say at the beginning, the show's not about friends, it's about money. But Benioff is the only CEO other than Indra Nooyi from Pepsi who was invited to my wedding. And it had 508 people, so it was not an exclusive group. And I think that Benioff is under tremendous siege right now, and he's really under siege from Elliott Partners, big hedge fund activists, who wants, I believe, to change the whole board. I don't want to say how can you lose in Salesforce given the fact that they're 4 activists, but you're going to make a lot of money in Salesforce if you own it. And that's because I believe that there'll be some sort of peace made, but the company, like Mark Zuckerberg last night, will have to admit that it's not as much of a growth company as he did, and he's got to cut even more people. My daughter goes out with a kid. He's a nice kid. Change of heart there. Just kidding. Just kidding. But he worked at Facebook, and he's really, I think he's a genius. Just amazing, and he knows sports better than anybody, but he also understands programmatic. He understands exactly how advertising works. He was put in charge with some other people about how to get more people to go to their Facebook, or really go to their Instagram page. And a bunch of ideas. People used to go to their Instagram page 7 times a day to look at posts. Now they go 2 because so few people are posting, and he was in charge of trying to figure out how to get more people to post. And then one day he came in and he was fired. Along with his whole office. And you can tell when a company's serious when they didn't even bother to look at who was good. Now, would I do it that way? I think I had to work at a company where I had to fire 150 people in a very short period of time. And the people underneath me didn't want to do any firing. And I said, listen, I'm going to pick the names out of a hat if you don't fire, because the institution must be preserved. Now, that is what people regard as the man's view. But when you listen to Zuckerberg last night, he was saying, look, I understand the institution has to be preserved. I'm not going to fool around anymore. That wasn't an activist situation, but that's where Mark is in Salesforce. And he did let go 10% of the people, announced a $50 billion buyback, but the activists want him to let go 30% of the people, and they don't want him to be CEO. Somewhere in there is a stock that goes to 200 from 175. Not necessarily the way I'd like it, because Mark's my friend, but the way that it gets there doesn't really matter if it gets there, as long as it's not crooked, and it's not crooked.